With us now firmly in the month of June, it is now Nintendo Direct prime time, but with a prominent leaker having dropped several Nintendo codenames, let's just say that Nintendo is holding some spicy announcements close to their chest indeed. Hey everyone, it's Yggdrasiel, and today we are going to be discussing not only the Midori codename leaks coming out of Nintendo, but we're also going to be throwing out some predictions and personal wants for the upcoming June Direct. Before we begin, as always, if you enjoy what I have to say, please consider leaving this video a like, and also subscribe to the channel for the occasional RPG and Nintendo news. But with that being stated, let's get stuck in. Now, for those who don't know, Twitter user Midori is a prominent Atlus and Sega leaker who gained a lot of notoriety over the years and has had a nigh-perfect accuracy record. It came to the shock of many then when, out of the blue last month, they've begun to take to discussing not only their usual stakes, but are also discussing and openly revealing Nintendo codenames for unreleased projects. As with any leaker, however, it's prudent to take everything non-official with a grain of salt, but if there were ever a leaker we could place some blind faith in, I'm just saying it would be someone like Midori. Now we've got quite a few Nintendo codenames, so I will get through those first before we discuss Nintendo Direct predictions. First up is codename Ounce, which is seemingly another Nintendo hardware codename for the Switch 2. While Nintendo and those who they've been sharing internal hardware information with have simply taken to calling the console as Switch 2 or New Switch, there is a lot of doubt being cast that Switch 2 will simply be the end-all be-all title of the next main console. Ounce is a brand new codename that has only appeared recently, but may share some details with our next codename leak, that being Project U-King-O. Now, U-King is the project codename of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but if the codename has a suffix, it is almost always considered to be a port of a previous title. As an example, a suffix of -s meant that the game would be a Switch port. There's been no other mention of O as a suffix, but with the preceding leak suggesting that O stands for ounce, this could well imply that Nintendo is sitting on a Breath of the Wild port for the Switch 2. This isn't something entirely out of left field either. There were rumors by multiple credible sources back during Gamescom of last year where Nintendo supposedly was showcasing a demo of Breath of the Wild running at 4K resolution with 60 frames and DLSS upscaling. That's as far back as September of 2023, so it's insane to see that those rumors have even more credibility now. Next up then is codename Banquet. Now this codename may be an allusion to a new Kirby title, as previous Kirby entries have also incorporated food in some way, but Midori has gone on to state that this title is in development with ND Cube and Smileboom. While Smileboom seems to be largely unknown, having a portfolio of niche coding and RPG building games, ND Cube has a history spanning as far back as Wii Play, but also includes all of the Mario Party games from Mario Party 9 all the way up to Superstars, and also has Everybody 1-2 Switch. Perhaps this could instead just be indicative of a new Mario Party game, or perhaps even Superstar DLC, but we'll just have to wait and see. Codename SP Red is next up, and if Red isn't enough of a clue, this is most likely the next mainline 3D Mario title. Red itself is the codename title for Mario games, with Red Star having been the project name for Super Mario Odyssey. As an added bonus, Midori also went to say in the same post that there was at one point a Project Silver Star, which may ultimately have been scrapped. We are more than due for a new 3D Mario with Odyssey, having been released in the Switch's first year, and 3D All-Stars having come out in 2020. Time for a real spicy one then with codename Legacy. This is a Monolith Soft title overseen and developed under Nintendo. As such, it's a Nintendo title in name and not under conjunction with Namco or other studios, so sorry to say, but it does not seem to be the Xenosaga remakes we are all craving. No, instead Legacy appears to be one of two things. The first thought is that Legacy could be an allusion to Xenoblade Chronicles X HD, referencing the L in the Blade acronym of the Western release of the game, that full acronym being Builders of a Legacy after the destruction of Earth. The other consensus is that the game is a new IP entirely, the minds of players rushing back to this now almost iconic piece of artwork that was shared years and years ago by Monolith Soft during one of their regular recruitment periods. In either event, it's all pretty exciting stuff, and while we'll just have to wait and see what Monolith Soft is cooking, there is no doubt in my mind that they are cooking up a feast, as they always seem to do. We're going to follow this one up then with Codename Edward, and while this one is a bit of a weird title, we do have a hint that implies that this is going to be a new 2D Zelda, and that is that Link's Awakening remake held the internal project name of Codename Richard. Could this mean that a remake of Link to the Past or Link Between Worlds is in our future? Perhaps even one or both of the Oracle games? Speaking of Zelda though, and while no codename has been announced for it, Midori has also gone on to state that Nintendo is sitting on a Twilight Princess HD port and they don't know why they're holding back on it. It could well just be that they may want to hold it off until Switch 2 or are waiting to see how their holiday portfolio is shaping up to be, but we just don't know quite yet. 2 more codenames to go, and next up is Codename Anna. With a bit of a Disney spin on this codename, there was a codename Elsa once upon a time that turned out to be Nintendo Switch Sports. Whether this is DLC to Switch Sports or a sequel game entirely remains to be seen. And lastly, we have codename Spiral, of which Midori is confident in stating that it is the next game in the ever so popular Splatoon series. And unfortunately, that's all we're seemingly going to get in the way of Nintendo from Midori, at least for a while, as they've gone on to state that they just want to be a happy little plant and not get taken out by the ever-judicial Nintendo ninjas just quite yet. That's not quite all there is, however. For one, they did go on to suggest that Dragon Quest III will have an HD 2D remake that will be presented in the upcoming June Nintendo Direct. So let's use that as a perfect segue into predicting what we might see. For one, I don't expect most of, if not any of these codenames to be mentioned during the Direct. These all seem quite a long way off with very little in the way of displaying their progress. There are, however, some other Midori-backed statements that we will definitely be keeping an eye out on during the Direct, and those are Bleach Brave Souls, an Apple Arcade game, and much to my absolute surprise and delight, possibly a sequel to Live Alive, a fantastic JRPG that I would highly recommend anyone and everyone to add to their gaming repertoire. But what about some personal predictions then? Well, with Nintendo seemingly going full cylinders blasting on mainline IP projects for the next Nintendo console, it wouldn't surprise me if spin-offs of their mainline titles are in the works, or that it could perhaps be time for lesser mainline IP to finally have some spotlight. Maybe it's time for a new Donkey Kong, a new F-Zero, or Star Fox Can Shine Again. Or perhaps Metroid Prime 2 Remastered is coming to help us bide some time until Switch 2. I could also see Fire Emblem having some fun in the sun as well with FE4, that would be Genealogy of the Holy War, getting a well-deserved Echoes entry. We are more than overdue in the West to see Genealogy get the love and attention it deserves. Lastly, I also believe that this could be a Nintendo Direct largely dedicated to Square Enix or Sega. If Live Alive 2 is a real thing, Team Asano would almost definitely be showing up at least once this Direct. Square Enix has recently also gone on to state that they are going to be less restrictive when it comes to releasing new IP for specific consoles only. So the Nintendo June Direct may just be their opening act to back up that statement. Overall, however, the June Direct is just one big mystery, but we know for a fact that Nintendo has a lot of great projects in the works. It's just a matter of how many of them they feel comfortable putting on a console that is almost assuredly in its last full year of development support. But that's where we are going to call it for this video. Between the leaked codenames and the upcoming Direct, we're in for an interesting period of time as we see how everything unfolds. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more Nintendo and RPG news. But with everything said, I hope you all Have a great day.